Yeah. It's your boy Chant, and today is the 50th episode. So we're gonna just recap a few of the past episodes down memory lane. Yeah.
The champ is here! The champ is here!
It's your boy Champ, and this is the Champ is Here show.
What's up, guys? It's a 6.
And it's your boy, Mr. Longchamp here, co-hosting.
So
Quick shout out to the audience. Shout out to our viewers. Appreciate you guys, our patrons. Yes, sir.
That's what's up. Big shout outs to them. So yeah, man. So we're gonna recap, talk about real quick, some of the episodes, some of our favorite episodes. I know 6, you just got on, you know what I mean? But I don't know if you've seen some of the old episodes, but some of the topics were a little interesting, you know what I mean? Episode 0 never made it to light. Was in a different mind state. We were really booted that episode. But we grew from that. We understood it was a learning process that we needed to bring the energy, and getting our minds medicated was counterproductive.
Ooh, yeah.
We enjoyed talking, but when we watched the way we were like, yo.
And it was like super long. It was super long. I may put that out for the patron, like little clips of it.
I was gonna ask him, like, would you ever just put it out just to see? Because that would
only
be
for our special viewer, only for our special fans. You know what I mean? Like,
okay.
Our dedicated fans will get another sneak behind the scenes.
That is hilarious.
A little snippet, yeah. So it was kind of cool. Our first episode was actually summer body, basically preparing yourself. We didn't know what direction we wanted to take the show at the time, so we were just like, hey, listen, let's talk about anything that was positive,
right?
Over summer body and stuff like that.
That fits in today because it's May, summer's around the corner. So
correct.
So
and it was about this time that we started. I think we started. It was like in probably June-ish, June, July. So it was about almost 2 years ago. So it was going into the summer.
Yeah. So go back and watch that episode.
People. So basically, what we're talking about, getting ready for your summer body, is doing the cardio. You know what I mean? The sun is out, but the most important thing was the nutrition, because what people don't understand is that abs are made in the kitchen. So that's where you get the abs. People, you could do as much crunches as you want. You could do as much sit-ups as you want. You can do 1 billion of those things every day, 7 days a week, 365 days out of the year. At the end of the day, your gut is the only muscle on your body. Well, your stomach is the only muscle on your body. Your stomach is a organ and a muscle, I should say. I got a little.
The abs are made in the kitchen. That's what they say. So your abs are the muscles for sure. They're abdominal muscle. The stomach is just the organ that digests the food, the actual organ.
Right. I was just trying to because I was saying the stomach. Well, I'm like, wait, the abs, but the gut. I'm like, wait.
The stomach is what you want to get rid of, so you have to eat less.
Yeah, because there's so many people use the word interchangeably.
Yeah.
Right. So there's no intestines in your arms, your chest, or your back of your legs, but your abs, your stomach or your gut, it's an organ and a muscle. So
right.
So another episode, it was kind of taboo, and 6, since we have a female on the episode now, I thought so. The episode was called, "Is it okay to slap your girl?" Now, what before we explain,
that was a great episode, by the way.
Before you explain, Gabe, don't.
I'm not gonna say anything.
What do you think, 6?
Is it okay to slap your girl? I mean, it depends. It really is the answer. It just depends.
Okay, you're on the right track.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's allowed as long as it's within, certain areas.
as long as there's certain parameters that are
As long
set
as it's in the
beforehand.
boudoir, like here, a lot of slapping. No, I'm just kidding.
No, so yeah, so basically what we were talking about, basically that's what it was.
Yeah.
So is it okay to slap your girl? But we were talking in the sense of, in an intimate setting.
Of course.
It's an intimate setting, because the
Definitely.
roles, the dominant and the
Yeah. And
all
don't go ahead and just go like hard. Like you gotta test it out, like because you don't know unless it's previously discussed, or if you're already in the moment, just don't go ham. You just gotta test the waters first.
Yes, because it was funny because it was something when I was much younger, I was nervous about, and I was like, I'm gonna test it out.
That must have been so awkward.
It was because for the other person, it was a shock, but it was like a good shock.
Yeah.
It actually played out.
Right. It worked out.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. It's one of those like, oh yeah, you really did that. Yeah. So.
That must have been a dope episode. That sounds dope.
This is gonna be part 2. I'm gonna name it "Is It Okay to Slap Your Girl" part 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, let me stop.
So yeah, so that was one of my games. Do you have any episodes that you?
Well, I'm a big sport. I mean, we had a few episodes that we talked about sports. A lot of those were definitely some of my favorites. We had one that was actually you and I were debating about NBA. We had episode we were talking about Colin Kaepernick and Jay-Z. We had the episode is Jordan and God mode. So a lot of those were definitely my favorites. Anytime we're talking about sports, you know what I mean, that's long time training right there,
Yeah.
One of my favorite episodes was when we were talking about the real roles of the police, why the police were created. You know what I mean? So 6 real quick, what I was explaining on the episode is that the police were created to first, when you had the slaves on the plantation, you had an overseer.
Yeah.
If you play the words overseer or officer, it really, sounds kind of similar to a certain degree. And they wore badges. So now when slavery was over, they didn't really have a need for an overseer. But what they did do was they brought it, once everything was gone, but when the wealthy had property that they needed to protect, they kind of brought the overseer back, but made him an officer to protect the property, to protect, stuff like that. So then now, as things evolved, it was always there, you know, since they didn't have slaves, they had the class system. And they were
Yeah.
basically, hey, listen, you know what? We need someone to protect, they had labor busters, people that would, union busters, hey, people don't work. And the rich people, hey, we needed work to be done. So they had to employ these police officers to make sure that people weren't going out and stopping the jobs and stuff like that. So they were created to basically antagonize the poor while protecting the rich. So it's funny how, when now that I used to drive a Subaru Legacy, or my first car, I used to get stopped, not often, but I used to get stopped.
Yeah.
But the fact that I drive a much nicer car now, I never get stopped.
Yeah.
You know
It's
what I
sad.
mean? So I just, I live it a little bit, but that's what the police are for. So when people are protesting and stuff like that, it doesn't make any sense. I understand the reason behind it, but if you want power, in that episode we were talking about, if you really want power, you have
got
to
to come together.
But unity, come within, understand what money is, understand, because it's a game that we're playing. If you understand the game, then you'll understand the rules a lot more.
Absolutely.
So one other thing, because what I was gonna say, that I remember that episode. That was group economics. One of the other things that you talked about was because you were mentioning how we would be working out in the morning, how you didn't really pay attention to what was really happening in the world. Of course, you were saying like you're sensitive to those issues. You're not saying like you don't feel bad for people, but you said you wanted to manifest that out of your experience. And I feel like that is something that we weren't really aware of being able to do back in those, back in those days, how you're saying you get pulled over a lot. But now that we're aware of these things, you're not really worried about getting pulled over like that, because that's not something that you're going to attract, because you're not thinking about, you're not nervous when you're driving. You're not doing anything that's bad. You don't have anything in your car that you're going to be worried about getting pulled over for. So
Correct.
it definitely goes hand in hand with what we were talking about last week too.
Right.
Yeah.
I know I've been chased in my car. Not chased, but it sounds like a fast chase, but I was driving. I know I was speeding and I had a couple drinks, and Chris was, my husband was sleeping next to me, and cops came and they were like right behind me, and I was like, oh my God. And I'm like, this is it. But they just kept on, they looked in the car, they just wanted to see who was in there. And then they just drove off, made a U-turn, went right back. I was like, this is crazy. Like they would really just, I know like any other time I've gotten pulled over. I mean, I've gotten out of tickets, but I've gotten pulled over and I've gotten tickets too. I'm like, it sucks.
No, I got a lot of stories when it comes. I got a lot of stories. There was one time we were driving and I remember that my driver's side window couldn't roll down.
Oh,
And
roll the window down.
what was crazy is that the inside of the car was super cloudy. Like super duper cloudy. Like it was a fog in there. And the police stopped me and I was like, oh my God, the only way I can show I have to open the door.
They're like, stay in the car.
No, the amount of smoke that came out of the car, because if it was the window, I could just crack it, just pass it, and then zip back. But that thing, they were like, when you're going, my eyes was like the same color as Gabe's hoodie. It was retarded, but they let me go. Everything was cool. I was so nervous.
You open the door and it was like, ba-da-da-da-da.
Episode of Who is like teaching Sean.
You ever go to the city?
Snoop Dogg.
You ever drive when you're driving in the city and the steam is coming out of the manholes?
Yes.
Yeah, yes. It's like that.
Like that. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah,
it was crazy, but those were good times. Those were, amazing times in my life.
Good memories, right?
Oh man, awesome.
If only one can speak of all these stories.
Some I can't really say on,
Exactly. Some can't be that.
So yeah, man. So yeah, Six, did you have?
Yeah, I was gonna say she gotta say some of her favorite. I know it's only been like 12.
I know, yeah, I know it's only been 2 episodes, but to be honest, my favorite episode was last week's episode, and you know why? Because I love tarot cards, and
oh yeah.
I mean, I can't even, like, if I told you it was a different episode, I'd be lying, because that was definitely my favorite episode.
So my mom's, that's crazy because people don't understand how much voodoo plays an influence on our religions right now. Like when you go to a white Catholic church, the way it is, when you go to like a Black or Hispanic church, people like, oh, that's when they're rejoicing, standing up, saying hallelujah, that's voodoo. That's how they would express themselves in, a temple or whatever. You know what I mean? It was just, that's what it is. So
wait, are you saying like you're talking about like Protestant churches versus Catholic churches? How Catholic churches they have like, and that's what I was gonna say. Actually, the opposite. Protestant. Oh, okay.
No, not Protestant.
I was gonna say like some Protestant churches they look at like Catholic churches like, oh, they have all these symbols that they worship and the statues.
I'm not talking about the different religion. I mean, denomination. Because
you're talking about the way they
white Protestant and you have Black Protestant.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying too? I'm not saying that. I'm just talking about the Caribbean, African, Hispanic culture, the way their churches and European churches are completely different
Yeah.
because we're bringing in an element of voodoo in it and they don't want to admit it, but
Mhm.
it is. I give case in point. My mom just came and says, Kev, I want to pray for you. And she's like, I need a shirt. I'm like, you need a shirt? She's like, yeah,
Yeah,
so I
I
could
remember
pray
this.
in
At
your
least that's for a good thing.
right. I said, oh, that's voodoo. She's like, that's
Yeah.
not voodoo. I'm like, mommy, that's voodoo. He's like, no, sometimes you get a picture or you get something. I'm like, a picture?
Yeah.
It's
I mean, that's how it starts. Don't let them
just
take
good
your
voodoo.
picture.
It's just they don't look at it
Don't
like
leave
voodoo's
your
a picture.
hair on your comb or on the garbage can at a stranger's person's like house. Like that's how it starts.
Like I said, voodoo is not bad. It's just that there was somebody or a group of people that
Mhm.
said it was bad, that told us it was bad. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's crazy. I'm like, when she did that, I'm like, it's okay, no problem. I'll give you the shirt. You know what I mean? I know you're gonna pray for me, but manifesting, when you're meditating and manifesting, that's voodoo. That's all magic. That's all, manifestation. That's all that is. That's spirituality. That's
So you're
all.
calling on to the supernatural, for lack of a better word, to
Well,
Yeah.
just
higher
give you
powers.
things, higher power. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You're calling on to a higher power.
Right. So for her to do that and tell me that, I'm like, Mom, it's okay. I get it. But it's cool. I just, it's very interesting to say the
It,
least.
yeah, absolutely is interesting. Definitely. I
But
have like my little tricks and things that I keep around the house. You can
Hey,
call it voodoo. Chris thinks I'm a bruja. I'm like, but only if you use that. I feel like if you do like negative things, and if you do negative things, I don't feel like that ever turns out to be okay. Like it never works out in your favor.
yo, you know who's been friending me a lot? A lot of voodoo priests on Facebook. And I'm like, damn, like I'm talking a lot. Like it'll just be, hey, you wanna make a lot of money? Yo, just hit me
Oh
up.
no, that's a scam. That's gotta be a scam. You want to make a lot of money?
Yeah, they could pray for me and stuff like that. I'm like, why is this
Oh
happening?
yeah, no. This is a scam. It's gotta be.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
so before we start to wrap up, I was gonna ask you. We all mentioned our favorite episodes. Did any of you guys have like a favorite interview, like or somebody that you were happy to bring on?
Oh
Kev,
yeah, we did some interviews.
Kev.
Um,
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. There was I think my favorite who was my favorite interview? We had a few interviews. I think my favorite interview was with the serial entrepreneur A Mizzle. I liked his energy for the simple fact that he did some things that I never heard that someone can do. Like he was talking about in the interview how he can form credit with people. Like if I
Oh yeah, I gotta hit him up about that. See how that's going.
yeah, like if you loan me money, Six, and I pay you back, you
mhm.
you report that.
Oh yeah, you can report it to the credit bureaus. I've heard about that before, but I've never like looked into it specifically.
No,
Or
he
maybe
was talking about creating a new score, like a new form of credit by
Mhm.
doing something like that, which is something I know that they do like in China and Asia or whatever. Like almost like
Okay, so that reminds me of Black Mirror. Did you see that
yes,
episode? Yes,
yes,
that reminds me
I know.
exactly of that.
Yes, which is I feel like most of the stuff that happens in Black Mirror episodes are things that may happen in the future or in some type of variation. So I would not be surprised. Or you can give somebody a score. Oh, yay, you did good.
Imagine that. That's crazy.
yeah, that was also in another movie too. Like people were just scoring. I forgot it was another movie, but when I saw the movie, it reminded me of Black Mirror. But that movie came out before Black Mirror, like, and it was just. But anyway, but nah, I liked his energy for the simple fact that he said something. He said that working because he was always a hustler. He was always getting products, selling them on eBay and stuff like that. But the fact that he said that when he actually got a 9 to 5, it really made him a man. I never heard that dynamic before because it gave him structure. It gave him, he was responsible for certain stuff because he was always making money on his own. He was always selling stuff. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he had a product, he would find a way to make money, for a long time when I met him. And then for him to later on in life get a 9 to 5 just to have that structure and understand, becoming a manager and being responsible for other people, you
Yeah.
know, that really, so that that was very interesting for me.
That is pretty cool. And I can actually see why that would be something that gives them structure, because I've managed people, but not up until I worked from home that I had to like wake myself up in the morning, make sure I did my work. Like nobody was supervising me. And I worked a corporate job. Not up until then did I realize like I can use all of this to my benefit when I start my own business. Like that really helped me. So I can see his point from that perspective for sure.
Okay. Well, what
Because you
about
got who's gonna tell you what to do as an
right?
entrepreneur? Like nobody's gonna tell you to go, I don't know, put something on the website, create a Instagram page, go ahead and advertise, like marketing, etc. Nobody's gonna tell you to go do that. But if you already know, like from working independently, I already knew like I had to do this, I can apply that same logic to my entrepreneurship, like my daily life, which was pretty cool. So I can understand that.
100%. So, you guys have a favorite interview?
I do actually. I like the farmer. God forgive me, I don't remember his name, but I thought that was a
Doug.
pretty cool concept.
It
What was
was
his name?
Doug with New Brooklyn
Doug.
Farms.
Yes, that was pretty cool. I
New
like
Brooklyn Farms, Kev. Remember
yeah,
that?
new.
the new Brooklyn Farms. I really enjoyed that interview, and also he was easy to talk to. Like he knew what he was talking about. Of course, obviously, he sounded pretty knowledgeable. But I liked his concept and growing the herbs, and his Instagram page is pretty cool. Like he has all the people that actually purchase from his farm. Like he reposts them on his page, so that was pretty cool.
And you, Gabe?
I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna give two. One I would say was because one of them was my friend, so I don't know if that kind of counts. BJ Tunes, because even though I knew for him for as long as I did, I didn't really, for as long as I knew him, I didn't know what got him to transition from being just a DJ to becoming an artist. So I actually learned that about him, and also a little bit more about how he makes music. And the second one I was gonna say is actually you, Six. I mean, because even though you are also our friend too, but that helped us to transition to grow the show a little bit.
That means a lot. So, yeah, I forgot I
forgot. I kind of forgot it. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, we did.
Yeah.
Interview her before, right? We interviewed. She didn't know we was interviewing for her for a job at the same time.
Oh, look at that. That was pretty cool. Yeah, thanks. That was awesome. I really enjoyed that. I was so nervous. I still get a little nervous, but I feel like I'm getting better as far as like my nerves. So it's pretty cool.
Wait till we start recording in person and get nervous all over again.
No, not in person. In person, I feel like it's gonna be much better because you're there. You're like, you have the buffer. Like on camera, it's kind of awkward. It's like, who's gonna speak next? Is it you? Is it like there's? But I feel like the cues are more. The vibrations can be felt better in person. So that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Looking forward to that. That's actually interesting because our old cameraman just called me.
Oh.
Just like cleared me up. I'm gonna call him after we're done. So
nice.
All right. So any shout outs?
Yeah, shout outs to Home by Six. So excited. I feel like I'm getting so much closer. So just stay tuned. I mean, to just releasing my new candle. Shout outs to Lee Bulldogs. Shout out to myself. Go check me out, 6 Series on Instagram. And shout out to Mad Sky Trucking. And yeah, that's pretty much. I'll leave the rest of the shout outs to you guys.
All right. So quick shout out to the audience once again. Appreciate you guys for our Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube viewers. Shout out to our patrons as well. Big shout out to moms, U26. This is this coming Sunday, about to be Mother's Day in a couple of days. So this episode will be out for Mother's Day. Shout out to BT Group. Shout out to Longchamp Training. And want to give another shout out to our guy, Moss, designed by Moss. Check him out. He made our logo. He's got another logo for me coming soon too. So check out his stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And before Kevin, I want to say shout out to the moms too. And I want to know from the audience, what was their favorite episode and what episode did they see first? Or what was their favorite episode, or what episode did they watch first? Like either or, you can do both. Just let us know in the comments. That'd be pretty dope to hear.
100. Yeah, big shout out to that was a good shout out, Gabe. You shouted out people that I never even considered shouting out, but I'm like, you deserved it.
Yeah, I was gonna say very on point.
Yeah, big shout out to the moms. Big shout out to the moms out there. Shout out to you, Six. Shout out to the wifey, because she gave me a beautiful baby girl. Shout out to my other baby moms, what I'm saying, too. She gave me 3 beautiful baby girls, 100%. Shout out to my mom, because she made me beautiful baby boy.
Beautiful baby boy.
Me too.
Beautiful baby boys.
Yeah. So shout out to the moms out there. Definitely got to do something special for them. Big shout out to the Brooklyn Cove. We got the boats out. You guys I know you guys see it. I know you guys
stories,
see
right?
We're out there in the water, in the ocean, for real, moving them things, So big shout out to Brooklyn Cove. Big shout out to Moving Keys, because we are moving keys. We're still selling the houses in the pandemic, so we're doing that thing. Got my final walkthrough tomorrow. I'm so hyped. Just did my thing with a rental, and I got another closing coming up soon. So I'm really, really excited about that. And shout out to Longchamp Success, because we are a success. So big shout out to Longchamp Success and the Champions Here show. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Yeah.